Hey everybody, welcome back to the Step Out and Thrive podcast with me, Bethany Boring. And I'm so excited because y'all know I get guests on these podcasts and I have Devon here today. So I'm going to introduce her in a minute. But before we get started, I want to make sure that you're in the right place. So if you are one of those people that do a bunch of one-on-ones, or maybe you just really want to experience deep transformational community, because here's the thing, if we don't put the oxygen mask on ourselves, we can't go and help others just like we are in a plane with other people. And so that's what this place is for. It's a place where you can like kick off your shoes, grab a sweet tea, grab your oxygen mask, get your oxygen going so that you can officially pour into the lives of the people that God has called you to do. So with that being said, I am here with Devon, and I love this podcast because I don't really have any specific people that I will or will not have on this podcast. My main representation is that I want to make sure that you have a story, and I want to make sure that you can share, and I want to make sure that we can connect. And so Devon and I are in the same Facebook Being Known podcast discussion group. That's where we initially connected, but I'm going to just throw it over to her. So Devon, welcome to the Step
Well,
Out and Thrive
hi.
podcast.
I feel embarrassed going after that intro, but hi. Um,
Why do you
glad to
feel
be here.
embarrassed?
I I don't know. I didn't expect that elaborate of an intro. That's all.
Well, if you are here, you are special and valued and seen and known. So
No.
you're in the right place, my friend. Yes. Well, I'm happy you're here. So tell me a little bit. I mean, we connected. I ended up messaging a bunch of people. In fact, if you're listening to this and you're a part of the Being Known podcast Facebook discussion group and you did not respond to my message, I love you. I just want to connect with you. That's all this was for. But Devin responded. She's like, yes, I would love to connect with you. I'm like, cool. And so just to let people know out there, if you Google the Being Known podcast Facebook discussion group, which we really do need to make that shorter, it's based off of the Being Known podcast with Kurt Thompson and Pepper Sweeney. And uh-oh,
Hi,
who's the other one?
Amy Choa.
Amy Chella. Oh my goodness, she's gonna, if she listens to this, she'll be like, oh my goodness, I talk to her all the time. Anyway,
Okay.
and so it's an awesome podcast. I set up the Facebook group so that we can talk about it because it's all about being known. And now it's kind of blown into this like larger group, and Devon's a part of it. So Devon, tell me a little bit about your story. Tell me how you found the Being Known podcast Facebook discussion group.
Well, I'm Devon. I'm 29. I have a bachelor's degree in communications from Christopher Newport University. Go Captains. And
Woo.
what was the other question you asked?
How did you find the Being Known podcast Facebook discussion group? Do you
Oh,
remember
well, I was listening to the Being Known podcast, and Pepper said we have a discussion group, and we don't run it, but some awesome people do, and I'm sure they'd love to have you. So I just
that?
Googled it or searched it.
Yeah, and there you are. I love it. And so we loved Kurt Thompson. We love the CBK, the Center for Being Known. I'm actually serve on the facilitator support team, which helps out with the confessional communities, and they have a conference. Y'all, if you haven't heard about the Center for Being Known, go check it out. So, but without that, I mean, Devon,
ecbk.org, I think.
yes, there we go. That's our plug-in, cbk.org. Go there now and check it out. And so, but Devon, I want to know more about your story. We connected, we shared a little bit. We both, I think the last time we talked about our physical challenges and kind of just the act of our stories there. And so I would love if you're okay. We didn't check any of this out. We just kind of pushed record and let it go. So that's what we
Yes.
do. And so can you share with us a little bit about your story and your background?
Well, as I said, I was born with cerebral palsy, and because of that, of course, I'm in a wheelchair. And well, not of course, not all people with CPR, but I'm in a wheelchair and need some assistance. So I've been on Medicaid and Social Security, and I'm just now starting to get into employment services. I've been on Medicaid and Social Security since I was 16, and I've become a real advocate for changing said Medicaid system because, as somebody in my confessional community put it, leave it to the confessional community to put it better than you could. It's not human friendly. So I'm trying to make
Yeah.
it more human friendly. So
There you go. I love that. I love that. And so, as someone who's been a part of that system myself and owning a business, and then, with charge syndrome, I mean, we hit it off when we first connected on here. And so, with you've had cerebral palsy. Have you always been in a wheelchair, or was there a period of time where you weren't, or how was that for you?
I have always been in a wheelchair, which I am grateful for because if you have to be in a wheelchair, I cannot imagine starting out being able to walk and then. And CP,
Mm,
for the record, is not like degenerative. It's just as you get older, like things get harder to do. So,
yeah. Yeah.
but anyway, I cannot imagine being in a wheel, like not in a wheelchair and then having to go to be in a wheelchair. So
Mm.
luckily I've always been in a wheelchair. If you're gonna be in a wheelchair, I think that's the way to go.
I mean, I
uh
love the way that you say it. I'm just so curious about that. Luckily, I've always been in a wheelchair. I mean, that is so profound to say that. And just so you find
luckily
like,
I'm in a wheelchair, but luckily I didn't have to go from not to
yeah.
being in one.
Now, what is it about being not in a wheelchair to going to a wheelchair that you're just like, thank God I didn't have to do that.
I would think like if you were used to being able to walk and get into places and do things easier, then it would be a tough transition to not be able to do
Mm,
those things
that's
all of a
true.
sudden.
That is true. So when you were like growing up, I mean, you had to learn how to like, go around in the wheelchair and stuff. And so, but it became almost like an extension of your body, right?
Yes.
Because yeah, and that is still how it is. And so, how is that today as you're in your 20s now and you're growing up and you want to start this business, right? Aren't you, or what is the podcast that you
It's a
have?
podcast, yeah.
Okay.
I don't put as much time into it as I should. I need to put a little more time into it, but I would like the podcast to take off, but it's just the burnout is
Hmm.
so amazingly amazing. And not in a
Yeah.
good way.
Gotcha.
I'm glad that Kurt does seasons. He does
Yes.
12 and then takes off because I didn't even I knew you could do that, but I didn't think about doing that. So I was like, once a week wouldn't be that bad. So
But you're doing good. I mean, what
yeah.
is it? What is it with the Wheel with It podcast that like what started it and why do you enjoy it?
So what started it was my undying love, and I say that jokingly. My
Yeah.
undying love for this man named Jeff Probst. I've been watching Survivor when I was 8 years old, and the first time I saw him pop up on my screen, I was like, I want to do that. So so podcasting seemed like a good way to do it. I don't
Yeah.
be. And so it started as a Survivor Recap podcast. Let's just say my Survivor Recap skills suck. So it
Yeah.
turned into a interview podcast, and that's pretty much where we are. So
So what types of people do you enjoy having on your podcast to interview?
anybody, of course, with a disability, anybody that I find fascinating, like
Hmm.
we just had this morning, I just recorded a guy with with I'm sorry, that was a cybersecurity expert and
Mm.
about how to like not have your business hacked. We've
Hmm.
had advocates, we've had like spiritual people, we've had pretty much everybody you can imagine, like we've had, which
Wow.
I don't think is that good for business, but I like it. So um
I love it. So it sounds like you've gotten totally different people out there
yes.
that love to you just love to be curious with other people and getting to know their stories. A lot about kind of what we do in this, podcast is that we highlight people that aren't just settling, but are actually out there doing. And so that's what I love about you is you're not letting cerebral palsy define you. You're not even letting your age define you. You're just going and doing. And that's what I like really appreciate. So what is it about like when you get out of the bed in the morning, what makes you excited to go through
Um
your day?
well, Uh, I've been taking a break from it for now because the rabbit hole is endless, but advocating for these Medicaid reforms, they might drive you to need to see a psychiatrist like her, but it's okay. It's good. You just need a little break from it once in a while. I might step back on that though, because oh gosh, the rabbit holes you go down. It's
Yeah.
just
Oh, I'm sure.
it's just
And
I won't get into it because it's not a political podcast, but
well, and now wait just for a second. So I'm not going to have you go too deep into, but what is it about this whole Medicaid craziness that has you so passionate to like voice, get your voice heard on it?
so it's one thing to have like low asset limits that were based on the 80s and all this stuff. And if you go to realwithit.com/reform, you can see exactly what we're trying to do. I'm not going to get too much into it. But
Yeah.
it's one thing to have issues because the waivers were made in the 80s or last updated in the 80s and not be aware of it. It's another thing to be aware of it, but
Yeah.
then use it for your gain, I would
Hmm.
say.
Hmm.
Uh and
Yeah.
that's where I think I am right now.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. I
yeah,
mean, it
I
really
don't
is
want to get too political, but all I'll say is you may think you know my political ballot, but you don't. So
yeah. Yeah. Well, and I think you're pointing something out there because a lot of people, I mean, this podcast has a lot of different people, a lot of different backgrounds, a lot of different knowledge and awareness out there. And one thing that people don't realize is people that have physical challenges, they are not all necessarily, quote, on disability on Medicaid or Medicare. Depends on their situation, depends on what they're going through. But those many that are on it, that are on it for the right reasons, I'm not going to go into all
yes.
that either, but are on it for the right reasons. A lot of people like me, for instance, I have my own business and I'm also a single mom of three boys. It is really hard to balance all of that. And the way the system works right now is it's like, okay, you can either go under us and kind of not barely survive, but it's really hard to financially survive on what they're giving you, but you can't get a job. Or you can get a job and then barely survive, maybe possibly survive, or maybe not. And so there's not a whole lot of really supportive, encouraging, we see you, we are behind you, we want the best for you. So we're going to help you get independent on your own. It's very much
And
one
Virginia
way or the
is
other way.
very much a pro at the state level, is very much a pro independence, pro community state. Virginia is amazing at the state
Mm,
level. It's
mm,
mainly, for me, anyways, it's
hmm.
mainly, and this is why I'm focusing on the federal guidelines because that'll have the most impact. I can't go around to each of the 50 states, even though I wish
Yeah.
I could.
That
I
would be
would be
fun. I mean, can you imagine Wheel with It podcast tour?
yes, yes, but the Medicaid advocacy in all 50 states, no, that's in some states talking to a wall might be more productive than not.
I love it. I mean,
So
truth be said here, but yeah. So what is it that you want people to know? Like, let's say we're talking to people that they don't have anybody really in their circle that they know anyway that's on Medicaid or Medicare or has that physical challenges. And so they're tuning in and going, okay, I don't know my connection to this. So what is one thing that you would like people in that audience to walk away with today?
so one is don't judge somebody on government assistance as our
Mm-hmm.
society often does
Yep.
because they're on government assistance, but the system makes it almost impossible for you to get off. So a lot of times they're having to weigh, oh, do I lose the guaranteed health insurance for my kids or do I be self-sufficient? And like, which one they're gonna choose. So
Yeah.
it's just So that's one.
Mm-hmm.
That's the main thing I would say. And two, I would tell them to go to realwithit.com/reform and see
Mm-hmm.
what we're trying to do and write to their senators if they would like
Yeah.
to
Do,
get
do
involved.
you think people that are on Medicaid and Medicare and all these assisted programs, do you think they get looked down on?
Um, sometimes it's getting less so now. I don't know whether that's a good or a bad thing, but
Yeah.
it's less so now, but they used to a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And I will say this, we are recording this now because I'm never for sure what God does in the launching and stuff. It's my plan to launch this in a couple weeks, but as we're recording this, it is October 30th. The government, as far as I know, is still shut down. They're
yes, oh my
arguing.
God. Like
Yeah.
that's a whole
They're still
nother.
arguing over some of the stuff that we're talking about, even right here today. And so this isn't just a convenience issue. It's at the heart of right now of a lot about what our legislation's going back and forth on, is
Yes,
how to
and
support. Hmm.
in my opinion, uh certain people do not want the reforms because it's a gravy train.
Mm.
So that is all I'll say about the government shutdown. I want to say more, but I'll be
Yeah,
respectful of your podcast. Uh,
it's all good. And I'm sure you've addressed some of this on the wheel with it, right? Hopefully.
I haven't addressed anything about the government shutdown because I try not to dive too deep into politics, but
Okay,
I might have
okay.
to do an episode on it.
I was gonna say, I
So,
think there's a lot there. Just saying. I bet we would love to tune in. So you'll have to let us know. You'll have to let me
yes,
know if you do a
I might
podcast about that.
I might have to scorch some people in Congress. That would be amazing.
They,
Yeah. So
I love it. I love it. So we talked about how sometimes it's hard for people to get off of a government assistance. And I will echo that from someone who's been living it as well, and especially as a single mom in that environment. We do it's almost, I want to say it's easy. It's not easy necessarily to get on it, but it is so stinking hard to get off. And
it's not
yeah,
it's if you're on waivers, like if you have a disability, because waivers are made specifically for people with disabilities to get extra assistance and extra services and all that. If you have a waiver or just a waiver or slash disability, especially, it's not as easy as people
yeah,
would make it look to get on. Like
yeah,
the actual Medicaid is easy, but the Medicaid waiver, which is what you really need, is so difficult to get on. It's not just like
yeah,
walk in, be like, I need a Medicaid waiver, and they just no, it's a whole thing you have to go through. I'm like, oh, do people abuse
yeah,
these? Like that's no.
yeah. Yeah, you'd be surprised. And that's the hard thing is that, and one thing I want to bring up into this conversation is that I think a lot of times when people come across anybody that has a physical challenge, mental challenge, whatever it looks like, they automatically go down this path of, government assistance or whatever, and they've already got an opinion made up about them. Like, for instance, when I go out, a lot of people believe that I have no government assistance, and that's not true. I have a business, I still support my 3 kids, but there is an element of government assistance helping me. Now, here's the thing, if I share that with people, they're like, oh, and it's kind of like an interest, like, they're like, well, they don't know what to do with that. They don't know what to do with the both and. And so, two things with that. One, I want to hear your response to this. One, for the people that are on physical or are on government assistance, and we're just going to focus on the physical disabilities for the lack of better terms for this conversation. That want to start a business, that want to work, that are doing stuff. Um, is that different than the people on government assistance that are not, that have physical challenges? That's a big, I'm bringing it up because people are thinking about it. So what is now it's a gray area because there's a lot of things that you could bring up in here. So there's no right or wrong, in my opinion. It really depends on the situation, but I would love to bring that up here.
So can you rephrase the question? I'm not sure I understood.
Let's say you've got one, we'll call them friends, and I'm just loosely using it. You got one friend who is on, both friends, or one friend that's on disability. Both of them have physical challenges, or both of them are actually on disability. Both of them have physical challenges. One is trying to get a business and just trying to earn some extra income that way, while the other is not. Is there a certain, do you see where I'm going? Because I know a lot of people
Yeah.
that struggle, and I'm not saying right, wrong, and different. I'm saying there's some people that really cannot hold some jobs, and there's other people that can. And it's almost like you got this, even within our disability community, we got this fighting like, well, I can do it. Why can't you? And it's just, I just wanted you to speak to that. Have you encountered anything like that in your world? And if you have, do you have any opinions or anything that you would like to voice into that conversation?
Oh gosh, you're making me do all the nuances today.
Hey, I mean, we dive right into it. We hold nothing back here. So I welcome these curious conversations. So, and I'm also sharing what I've heard from other people.
So
So,
I'm not the best at this, but I would say that if you're doing the best that you can do,
mhm.
then it doesn't matter how much you're on it. It's just how you use it and how productive you are while being
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah. I like the way you said that. I mean, because here's the thing. At the end of the day, you are still Devon. I am still Bethany. I don't get my value from a check that I get in the mail. I hope not, anyway.
I no, I hope not. Uh, but these waivers do become like a child. You have to
Yeah.
like, I don't know. You
Yeah.
and it's just wow, that's a really nuanced question that I haven't been asked. But I'll answer it like that. Like if you're doing your best, then
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
shouldn't matter really.
Exactly. Well, and right now, I mean, we are walking through some changes in this country, right, wrong, and different. It is like we have to face of what is happening. And so, one thing I've had to really settle into is that, and I think those of us with physical challenges can relate to this more than a lot of other people, is that we've seen a lot of things in our life kind of spin out of control, whether it's physically with what we can control, what we can't, with our quote adaptability, because we've had to adapt to so many different things that other people just don't even think about. And so when this kind of stuff comes up, and especially it impacts our community in general right now, one of the things that God has really been speaking to my heart is like, haven't I seen you through a lot before? Like I can't argue against that. And he says that in a loving way, by the way. It's not like haven't I? No, it's the loving way. And I'm like, huh. And I've just really kind of rested with that because it is an area that I can't control. It's another area of my life that I can't control. I don't know what's going to happen next month or tomorrow, but I do know that God's always in control. And so I wonder if that resonates with you at all with
I
everything that we're
mean,
walking through right now.
yeah, the main thing I'm sort of is like I don't do a lot during the day right now. Like I have no job right
Mhm.
now. I'm not, like I
Right
said,
now, I like how you said that. Not yet, but go ahead.
I'm getting ready to go through employment services, so hopefully that will change soon.
There you go.
And I have no kids, no partner. The marriage
Not
penalties
yet,
are
but yeah.
not yet, not yet. Hope now hope, but the marriage penalties are another thing that we can get into.
Right?
And and so it's not like I have that much stress in my life, but like I still will have panic attacks and anxiety attacks
Mhm.
and I don't know what you call them, rage fits over the
Mm.
limits, like the asset limits. And
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
marriage penalties and the lack of funding, not in Virginia, but in certain states for Medicaid, because
Hmm.
some wait lists in some states are 15 years. The one in North Carolina is 14. So
It's
it's just
crazy.
like ridiculous. Anyway,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, okay, you cannot be like, is this too much for me? I'm like, and I feel bad saying that because I have no job, no nothing. So like I can dedicate all my life to this, like literally all my life to this for free. And which I think is more impressive than somebody who's
Hmm.
doing it because they're paid to. Not to brag, but
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
and but I'm like, is it worth the mental toll that it takes on you to like go down all these rabbit holes? And
Mm. Mm.
so,
But it sounds like it is worth it for you.
well, it is a little bit, but I'm like, is it really worth that much? Like, it's somebody with like a
Mm.
lot thicker skin come on and
Yeah.
and do it.
Yeah.
So,
And it sounds like you have that that's exciting for you, but then at the same time, I'm hearing, well, I'm going through the employment services. I do want a job. And I'm also hearing that, yes, you're in this place in life where you're single. Enjoy that, by the way. Just saying. That's another
I'm
message.
trying. I'm
It's hard.
trying.
Well, what's the hardest part? And I mean, you can always, my people always know you can go, yeah, I'm not ready to talk about that. But what's the hardest part about in your stage of life being single?
Oh gosh. There's so much I could say, but being a good podcaster, I won't leave you with nothing. So um, I'll say just like there's just so much. I, I don't even know what to say to that. So I am gonna leave you with nothing and say I'm not ready to talk about that.
Okay,
So
well, that works too. Yes, exactly. I mean, I've had the privilege of being married and walking through divorce, and now, single mom of my three amazing, amazing, almost all teenage boys. Whew. Anyway, it's not empty here. It's not empty here at all. And so I can imagine I do have friends who are single who do not have anybody at home. And they say one of the hardest things about being single is to go home to an empty house or to go
yes,
home to an empty apartment or
and I have, I suppose, like all of us, my anxiety hits at night. So I get
mm,
so lonely, like just sitting in an empty house, and
mm,
it's that is one hard thing. Is
mm.
the loneliness of it, but
Yeah, that's huge. Can I say that I sense that? And as you're sharing, I automatically feel like this tightness in my throat as you're sharing that.
yeah,
And
I
yeah,
kind of feel that too. To be honest, I'm like,
yeah,
but
yeah.
can we go back to talking about Medicaid? Maybe Medicaid would have
Yeah,
been
there you go.
better.
Let's go back to the easier issue. I love it. I love it. Well, and that's one thing I just want to say. Just thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing so vulnerably and honestly about just how it is to be in this place. Because I think a lot of times, especially when we talk about these physical challenge and disability conversations, we always go, rah, rah, this person's achieved XYZ, and we kind of leave it there. And a lot of times we don't talk about how hard it can be. And we're not doing this as a wah wah, but it's more of the reality of, do you have those people in your life that that are going through things, whether you know that or not? Do you have that relationship with them where you can sit down and actually have these curious conversations? Like Devon and I had our first conversation was probably at least an hour. And we had to cut it off because I'm like, I gotta go. And the second
Yeah,
one I
you're
said,
like,
I
I
gotta
gotta
go.
go. So bad because the way most everybody's different, but the way most podcasters slash people who do a lot of virtual meetings work is they will have a link that they can send out to for you to pick a time and you schedule on the little app or website or link thing, and
Hmm.
then it sends you the Zoom link automatically. It sends you everything you need to know automatically. And this particular scheduling system, I'd never seen one of like this before. You clicked on the link like normal, but there was 30 minutes, 60 minutes,
Yep.
and 90 minutes, and I didn't realize that. And I guess it had defaulted to 60 minutes, and I found a day that I could do. I was like, okay, I can do that day, that time. And
There
then
you go.
I realized it was 60 minutes. I was like,
But we connected and it was really great because I have one of those calendar links. I don't advertise it for everybody, but if you know how to get to it, you do. And sometimes I don't know who these people are. I'm like, I have no idea who this person is. I don't know how they got my link and they signed up for half an hour. Okay. And I'll message, and see what's going on. But you were like fun because we hit it off and we knew that we had a lot in common. And I knew that you had a podcast. And so the reason I mainly wanted to have you on here, Devon, is that I wanted people to really sit with the idea, and me personally as well, is that do I judge people by the cover? If you knew and you were looking into somebody's eyes and you found out that they were on government assistance, would that change the way that you thought about them? If you were looking at somebody that you didn't think had a physical challenge and they admit to you that they did, would that change the way you think about them? We want to say it doesn't, but it's just something that I wanted people to kind of sit and wrestle with. And another thing is the act of curious questions. We've asked a bunch of curious questions back and forth here with us, and we're different, but yet we're alike as well. And we both had that moment just a couple minutes ago where we kind of shared that moment of relativity. And so, as we're wrapping this up, what is something that you would like to say for my audience that the biggest thing that I want people to walk away with is to realize how much you have right now and to walk in it. Don't try to change it. Don't try to make it better necessarily than it is, but actually be in it and find a thriving that's in it. So, what is it that you have to share with our people today of encouragement?
so first of all, like I said before, do not judge people on government assistance. Uh, as you are, society is predisposed to do. And I'm saying this for both sides of the aisle. Your opinion on what should happen with Medicaid is probably wrong. It's more nuanced than either one side or the other. So don't have, I'm not going to say don't have opinions, but don't like think you know everything until you've worked
Mm,
with it or have been on it, because it's so, especially if you have a waiver, it's so, or disability, it's so much more complicated than what they make it seem like.
I love
So,
it. I love it. So, not just assume, but ask questions and get to know the person.
yes.
It's huge. That's something to walk away with right there. And it sounds easy to do, but it's a lot harder sometimes when you're in the moment. So, Devin, I appreciate you, my friend. You already mentioned your website, but I want you to mention it one more time just in case people are like, I want to get to know her more and I want to watch her
Real,
podcast. So,
realwithit.com. And then if you go to realwithit.com/reform, REFORM, then you can learn all about what we're trying to do with Medicaid. And please watch Patrice the movie on Hulu. It's about these two people that are on Medicaid and have disabilities, and they want to get married, but they can't because of the way the system is set up. The movie will explain it. The movie is hilarious. It's a documentary rom-com. It's hilarious. And I have the director and producer on my podcast, so you can listen to
cool.
that on the forum page. But please watch that on Hulu if you're looking for something to watch, because it perfectly explains what we're trying to do, at least a little bit of it. And
Yeah,
then, yeah, that's all I want to say.
awesome. I love it. I love it. Well, thank you, Devin, for being here. Thank you for being part of the Being Known podcast Facebook discussion group. Thanks for just hanging out and thank you for just being and allowing yourself to be known here. So check out Devin's website. And if you're out there listening going, wow, I wish I had a place like Devin and Bethany to like connect. We want to open that up for you. So you can check out everything that's going on with Step Out and Thrive at stepoutandthrive.com. You can also go to bethanyjoy.fyi for any of the current events and any of the current links. And the biggest thing is checkinthursday.com. That is the biggest website out there if you're just looking to dip your toes in and try to see if there's a community out there where you can connect with at any time. That's there. So we'd love to see you at checkinthursday.com. So that being said, Devon, thank you for being here. And as we always end, dare to do more than just survive, step out and thrive. See you guys back here next week. Bye.